Let's start with the Cleveland Cavaliers because last night they extended their win streak to 4 games. They beat the Orlando Magic, but Kenny Atkinson was anything but happy in his post-game press conference. Before we dive into the good from the game, we have to start with the bad, and the bad starts with Kenny Atkinson and what he had to say. Let's take a listen.
You know, I just told the team in the locker room, if we're going to play defense like this, we're going to have a short playoff stint. So, you know, right now we have a mentality that we're just going to outscore people. And we all know when it comes playoff time, it's not going to be that easy offensively. You're not always going to shoot like we're scoring now. So if we're giving up 132 points, 128, I don't know. Seems like every game, we're not going anywhere. So,
what did you think the biggest issue defensively?
Everything. So it's the compete level, and then along with the compete level, there's an IQ level, an understanding of the game. So if you're slipping in both areas, you give up 132 points. And the last part of that is communication, right? So if your compete level's not there defensively, you're missing closeouts or not understanding personnel. That's the IQ part, right? And then they're sliding in for offensive rebounds all the time, and that's, so we got to decide. We got 2 weeks to figure it out, and that's a challenge for this group. But right now, we just think we can outscore people.
So you heard it from Coach himself. You take the win because a win is a win in the NBA, but in his words, it will be a short playoff stint if the Cavaliers can't up their defensive intensity in the next couple of weeks. Chris, do you agree with good old Kenny Atkinson about his assessment of the current state of the Cavaliers defense?
Yeah. How could you not? I mean, this is a Magic team. Let's not pretend that they're a terrible team. They're competing for a playoff spot. The Cavs very well may likely see them in the playoffs. But this is a team that's not very good offensively. They're in the bottom half of the NBA when it comes to field goal percentage and three-point percentage. And they played better than their season averages yesterday. Obviously, the Cavs have so much talent offensively that they're able to outscore teams and they're able to close it out when they needed to. But you watched that game yesterday, and there were just moments you're like, okay, cool, this is the time for the Cavs to pull away. They're up 11 in the fourth quarter. Then all of a sudden, here come the Magic again. Now, they were hitting some shots that I don't know that they hit on average. That just sometimes the ball rolls the different way. But, yeah, and he pointed to being competitive, and it goes to being effort. And it just seems like this Cavs team, not just defensively, they've been so, I guess, lackadaisical. There's been no panic in them when things haven't been going right, but it just seems like they're just kind of coasting right now. And I don't know that you can just flip that switch in the playoffs and be able to all of a sudden become a great defensive team if you haven't been able to show it in the regular season on a consistent basis.
Dustin?
Yeah, it's concerning. I mean, you give up 131 points to a team like Chris said that doesn't typically score that many points per game. Now granted they made some shots late that were probably not the highest percentage shots, so they made some buckets. But look, guys, it's March, okay? The team's 13-4 since they traded for Harden. You know what I mean? Like they're winning, they're doing good things. Jared Allen's missed 9 games. Mm-hmm. Like not having him in the lineup, I think is something worth noting. It's important to have him out there, and when we get him back, I think that will change. I don't think Magic wouldn't have scored 131 last night if Jared Allen's in that game. But I do agree with what Chris said. It's tough to flip the switch. You can't just go from overnight to not playing any defense at all to all of a sudden playing lockdown defense and trying to hold a team under 90 points. Like that's not going to happen. So they've got to get better. They got to give a little bit more effort. I'm not gonna be like all, up in arms over last night's performance. It was a win, on a random Tuesday night in March. They got the job done and they did what they had to do. And again, 13-4 since Harden. So it was nice to see Donovan Mitchell show up and score 42 and remind everybody what the ceiling is. And the ceiling is that they can be a championship caliber team. Mm-hmm. Okay, that they also were reminded that we can have some lapses defensively, and that can be a problem.
We'll get to the good in a sec because I don't want to poo-poo a win.
Right.
especially when they had some really good moments in said win. But I think what Kenny said was spot on. He's right. 100% right. If they don't play with more defensive intensity, if they don't correct some of the mental mistakes that they're making on a night-to-night basis, they are going to have a much shorter playoff stint than this team is capable of having. And to me, that's not disappointing in the last night context, but in the big picture context, because this team is yet to prove on any capacity that we should just trust them inherently to be able to flip the switch. Right when LeBron James was back here in Cleveland and they were coasting through the regular season, it was LeBron James who had been to the finals 6 or 7 or 8 straight times. He's the greatest player to ever lace them up. You trusted LeBron to be able to coast through the regular season, come playoff time, flip the switch, and guess what? Locked in, 0 dark 30, you were going to make the NBA championship. The Cavs just haven't had that level of success in the playoffs at any point during this current tenure to just inherently sit back and say, okay, guys, in the playoffs roll around, we'll flip the switch and we'll be good defensively. They have the reigning DPOY in Evan Mobley. Granted, Jared Allen's been out, and they are a significantly better team defensively when Jared Allen's in. That it cannot be overstated. But we also can't just use this excuse, we're missing guys, we're not good defensively, we're only good whole. Because the Cavaliers haven't proven they can stay whole for a deep playoff push yet. They're going to have to find different ways to counteract guys missing a game here or there in the playoffs. Or maybe Jared doesn't come back at full strength from this knee injury, which has gone from day to day to now week to week. We did get a positive update from Kenny yesterday. So let's talk about the good in a second, but acknowledge the fact that Kenny Atkinson was 100% right. If they play defense like they did last night against Orlando, it's not going to be a deep playoff push. Earl.
One thing to note, I'm on NBA.com right now. So the Cavs, after last night's game, their defensive rating is 113.7. That's 14th. Detroit is second. Boston is fourth. New York is fifth. And tonight's opponent, the Miami Heat, sits at number 6. So you all are absolutely right. If you're going to have any chance of advancing and reaching your goals in this year's playoff, you got to step it up on that side of the ball, because you're not going to be able to outshoot and outscore your opponent every single night, especially come playoff time. It just don't work like that.
And you don't have to be the number 3 defense to win a championship. The general rule of thumb is top 10 in each. Be a top 10 offense, which the Cavs unquestionably are and have been one of the top 3 offenses in the NBA since the Harden deal. They just can't be 17th or 18th defensively, because there are going to be nights in the playoffs where Sam Merrill doesn't make shots, or Jalen Tyson, Dean Wade, all the role players don't make shots, and you can't rely on Donovan to score 42 and James to score 26. Those two to combine for almost, 68 points? My math is
I'm a journalism major, so
68 points.
Class.
You can't count on those two to give you 70 points a night if you're going to win in the playoffs, Chris.
And if there was a time when you talk about flipping the switch, and I understand, last year they played so well in the regular season, fell apart because they just weren't ready when the playoffs, because they tapped out too early. If there's a time to flip that switch and show you're capable, it's now. There's a couple of weeks to the playoffs. You want to be peaking at this point. And the moves at the trade deadline, getting Keon Ellis, getting Dennis Schroeder, getting James Harden, were to get you ready for that. They should be meshing right now. The defense should be showing signs of progress. And yes, Jared Allen isn't there. We could talk about when Jared Allen comes back, what does that mean for Evan Mobley? They got to figure that out too. But this is where you would hope to see some sort of progress. And the Orlando Magic, nothing against them, are not a team that should be scoring 130 points against this team.
Especially without Franz Wagner and Anthony Black.
They were hurt.
So it is what it is. They were on the second night of a back-to-back, 3-4 for them. Thus, let's talk about the positive from the game, because it was a win, and we don't want to take away anything from the fact that the Cavs did beat the Magic, have won 4 in a row. Donovan, who's been struggling with a bit of an eye injury, and even in his post-game press conference last night, I'm looking at him, so his left eye is still bloodshot, and it said his mom has sent about 50 screenshots from the game being like, "Are you okay, Don?" He's like, "I'm good, Ma. It looks worse than it is. I am okay." He had 42 last night. Harden had 26 and one of the craziest behind-the-back passes I've ever seen in person. Evan was also really, really good last night. Dustin, this offense, defense aside, this offense is meshing exactly how you'd want it to at this point in the season.
Well, I mean, if you're going to give up 131, you better score 136. I mean, we clearly saw the offensive explosion last night. Donovan, we know that he can, on any given night, go out there and score 40, 50 points, depending on the night, and when he wants to be in attack mode like he was right there. I mean, that's the Donovan we're going to need in the playoffs to win a championship, or even just to get past the second round. Hell, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here, but that was a great night for him. The Harden experiment's been good so far. You mentioned the pass. I mean, it's a ridiculous
It's
pass.
just an absurd pass.
It's a LeBron type pass.
Absurd.
I mean, and you don't see those too often from guys in Cleveland. And I guess I was wrong. I said
You didn't count last night.
I
Yeah,
didn't count last
I
night.
was going to correct you, but
That's
you were
okay.
close enough.
I was on it, but I just didn't add in the last night's win. So 14-4. I'd say that's pretty darn good.
And 6-3 against quality opponents, and they haven't had Jared Allen for 9 of those
For 9 games.
Chris, I know you've been at a couple of these James Harden experiences now, and it feels like an experience watching him play. I tweeted this out last night. You watch him on TV, it's one thing. To see him in person, the way that opponents can't knock him off his pace, his passing is so much better in person than you give him credit for. And he's just a gigantic human being. He's just way broader from shoulder, and his lower body's it's big. Like, he's just a big, big, big dude. What have you made of the combination of Harden and Mitchell so far in this about 18-game sample size?
James Harden's one of those rare athletes, and there's a few that I'll compare it to watching Messi play in person, where it doesn't look like he's playing very hard, and you go like, wow, is this guy loafing it? And then all of a sudden it turns on, and you're like, wow, he's just that
Miles
good.
Garrett.
Yeah, like Miles Garrett. They don't look like they're trying. They're just that good. And having Donovan Mitchell and Mitchell having Harden, I think, is just such a lethal 1-2, because Mitchell does so well finishing at the rim. Harden's good at giving it to him. And you saw it against a couple games ago. Harden gets doubled. They need the go-ahead bucket. And Mitchell breaks free, and he's able to find him through 3 defenders, and they get the win. It's so lethal, and God bless Darius Garland. I think he's doing very well in L.A., but you just never saw that level of unflappability. That's a really good way to put it with Harden. And the fact that when he gets pressured, he's not going to panic. He's going to find his guys. He gets backed in a corner, makes an incredible behind-the-back pass for the open guy in Max Strus. Like, that's just so underrated, that unflappability, and something absolutely this Cavs team needs, because they're still pretty young. They have guys who haven't really been at that level, but he has. And I think that's brought such a calming presence to when it gets to crunch time.
And another factor in last night's win in particular, but Evan Mobley in the last 12 games has been awesome. And I cannot emphasize enough how good this stretch has been for Evan Mobley. Later in the YouTube portion of the show, we're going to talk about, do the Cavs have the talent to win a championship? And if they get this version of Evan Mobley, we certainly will have a chance to play deep into the month of May and into June. Look at his numbers from the last 12 games. 21 points per game. He's shooting 63% from the floor. He's shooting 71.2% from 2. So he can't make a 3. Everything else he's been incredible at. His rebounds are up. His blocks are up.
How about those free throws, Mikey? Are we getting
Yeah, I'm about to say,
those
not
back up?
everything goes. He can't make a 3. He can't make a free
He
throw.
was 3 for 4 yesterday. He was 3 for 4 yesterday.
That's 75%.
But also,
Passing grade,
and pull those stats back up real quick. Imagine he could make a free throw. He's missing 3 a game. He could be averaging 23, 10, 2, and shooting close to 60% from the floor. And Dustin last night.
I wasn't trying to jump on
had
you, but you said
5
he struggles just with threes, but he's also
Oh, no,
struggling with
the free
throws.
throws is an issue. The free throws is a legitimate issue.
And those I care more about in the postseason
Yes.
than I do the threes, because your threes just don't take them.
His free throw rate has gone up. His percentage has gone down. He's taking fewer and fewer threes.
You're an apologist.
And he's
Are you an apologist?
No.
You an apologist?
I think this is the best version of Evan Mobley. Is the one who doesn't shoot threes. Is the one who is now punishing mismatches. And play the highlight again of Mobley from last night. He had 5 dunks last night. To me, that's a telltale sign that he's getting more and more aggressive. But also, that's a guard on him. You're going to switch? I'm just going to finish around you. I'm going to power through you. He's not shying away from contact. And watch this offensive rebound here, Dustin. We've been upset with some of his offensive rebound in the past.
Yeah, because he needs to assert himself.
Give me that.
See, okay, that's aggressive right there. I like that.
I think that's a good way to put it. Aggressive Evan Mobley. He's a shy guy. He doesn't.
He
like
is
to
a shy
talk.
guy.
He's not really that loud, but he's starting to play loud, and that's exactly what the Cavs have wanted and what they've needed. And now that they've got it, he's turning things around and he's playing really well.
He's that third compadre to the 2 dominant guards they have, and you bring Jared Allen back in the fold, and we'll see how it all meshes together. All right, guys, we got to get to a break. Before we do that, a quick reminder that this Saturday, the Cleveland Charge home finale in the regular season. They are currently the 3 seed in the entire G League. That means they will host a playoff game at Public Hall. They have a chance to move into either the 2 seed or the 1 seed. They have one more game on the road than at home. Saturday, 7 p.m. against the Long Island Nets. You can get your tickets at clevelandcharge.com.